Hello guys, Ashley here, back in another video. Today we're going to talk about One Tree Hill, and I also have another rant that I would like to go on. My fan on is hot. And again, this video might not be too long. I just want to get straight to the point. And I want to talk about Brooke, aka Lucas and Brooke, and specifically when it comes to them in season 2. Now, I am actually not rewatching, kind of like scanning through the episodes of season 2 because I'm going to be making another video on why I think season 2 is the weakest high school season, and I already wrote down my notes. I wrote down 10 reasons this time. I actually found 10 more reasons why I kind of think it's a weak season. And I think one of the reasons why it's a very weak season, and one of the reasons why I think it's a season that's like kind of like season 2 had like a lot of random storylines and like a lot of things that just didn't make sense. And I feel like what I'm about to be ready to say right now is one of the things I'm talking about, and I feel like I'm about to ruffle some feathers. A lot of the Brooke shippers are going to be so mad at me, but it has to be said. Like, it has to be said. And here it is. For Lucas and Brooke's feelings in season 2 make no sense. There I said, and I'm about to explain why. Lucas told Nathan he has feelings for Brooke in episode 9 of season 2. Let me remind y'all. Episode 1 through... No, it was episode 10. Sorry, not 9, 10. Episodes 1 through 8, Lucas and Brooke have no interaction. None. They haven't talked to each other, they haven't interacted with each other since the second episode of season 2. Now all of a sudden they hang out one time in episode 9 after he's there for her on the beach after everything that went down with Felix. I'm gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna talk about that too, because I feel like Felix is a big reason as to why the writers pushed them back together. After Lucas was there for her, which everything that went down with Felix at the homecoming dance, they talked, and he was like, "I'll give you a ride home," so but I can walk myself. And then she said, "I really don't want to walk." And then the very next morning, Lucas took her out for breakfast, and she said, "I really want to try to be friends." He said, "Okay." So then in episode 10, all of a sudden, Lucas and Brooke have feelings for each other. It just didn't make any sense to me. It seemed like it was just a lot of unresolved things from season 1 for them to just fall back into each other. Now, I can understand why a lot of people don't tend to think about this, and that's because Chad and Sophie had great chemistry. I don't take that away from them at all. I think they had very real, realistic chemistry. It was very real, and I saw it. They had some of their cute moments. I would say some of the best Lucas moments are in season 2. I would say my favorite moments with them in season 2 is the beach scene, the beach. I like the scene where, I like the wedding scene with them. I like the scene where Lucas said that he still has feelings for her. I like the scene, I think what else? Oh, I like the scene in Brooke's bedroom when she says she is what she is with no excuses, and Lucas said that everything that she needs to say is in her heart. Like, there are some, the scene where, Lucas tells her that she can stay in his bedroom, and she hugs him. Like, I actually really love those. I like those scenes. I think some of their best scenes together are definitely in season 2. I think that's why a lot of people tend to not think about how bizarre it is that they instantly fall back to each other when it makes no sense. And I think the reason why this happened is because everything between Brooke and Felix. And I absolutely, positively, every fiber in my motherfucking being hate the storyline between Brooke and Felix with a passion. This storyline pushed her and Lucas back together when honestly it could have done all this without having Felix there as a character. And let me just explain the whole Brooke and Felix storyline and tell you guys why I don't like it. Brooke is the one who seduced him. Let's get it straight. She's the one who told him that they're going to have a friend. Well, pretty much they put them in the janitor's closet, and she was like, This is just a distraction, no love, no strings, no nothing, just friends benefits. Her and Felix are casually hooking up, very much so, and then all of a sudden, episode 6, Brooke gets very jealous because Felix brought another girl to the trip opening. She got very, very drunk. Moss also had a huge crush on her, and Felix told Brooke that he brought her home because she was drunk. He lied to her. She instantly believed it. She thought that he was the one who bought her dollhouse. He's the one who brought her home the night at the trip. Even though Moss was the one who bought it, but Felix bought it, but he told Moss to give it back to Brooke. Moss told Brooke that he bought it and he brought it back to her. That's not what happened. And I just really hate this storyline with her because it's just so stupid. It's such a waste of time. And I think the reason why I also hate this storyline is because it just shows how much of a male sense of character Brooke was in the very beginning. I'm not talking about her and Lucas. I'm not talking about that. Her and Lucas were an ongoing, I had to say it, a love story, a love relationship of them trying to figure it out what it was. I'm not talking about Lucas. I feel like the whole Felix storyline just told me that Brooke very much had very, very low standards and very, very bad low self-esteem issues. The fact that you told him that there is no strings, no emotions attached, no nothing, but yet y'all choose to get deep and vulnerable with each other on a regular basis, telling him that Lucas cheated on her with Peyton and that it makes her feel like she's unwanted, unloved. I totally understand where she's coming from. And she's talking about that he's nothing like Lucas, that he's different from him, and all this other shit. Him telling Brooke that he had a girlfriend before and that he was doing friends benefits to avoid an emotional attachment. Like, why are y'all doing that if it's supposed to be just friends benefits? Y'all are choosing to try to turn this thing that meant nothing, that's very surface level, into something that's a relationship. That to me is very stupid. That to me is not cute. I don't find it cute. Her and Felix, just because they're having these forced conversations about an emotional stuff, does not mean her and Felix need to be together. This whole Felix storyline is a waste of time, in my opinion. And I mentioned it in my last video when I talked about the Haley situation, that when she bought Felix to Haley and Nathan's apartment, they could have sex in their bed. And she basically just told them that she doesn't feel nothing to feel anything. And to me personally, I just don't believe that. I think Brooke, to me, nothing is ever just sex. Ever, nothing is ever just sex. Never. So, her things are still hooking up. And something else I also noticed when it came to this storyline is that Brooke, emotionally, and y'all probably gonna hear me say this, but I kind of saw it a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. She emotionally abandoned Peyton a lot in season 2. In the beginning, when Peyton needed her, Brooke was never there. I feel like, I won't say never there. In season 2, I'm gonna say, I'm saying this right now. Listen to me. Listen. In the first half of season 2, when Peyton was really in deep depression, still going through her grief for her mom, missing her dad, missing Jake, missing Jenny. Where was Brooke? I feel like Brooke was really there. I feel like the moments that Brooke should have been there, they decided to do that with Anna. A lot of the moments that Anna and Peyton had, I think that should have been her and Brooke. Minus the kissing. I feel like Peyton should have been there for her a lot more. Instead of talking about she's a cocaine whore and things like that, that to me is not funny. That's not funny. Instead of throwing that in Peyton's face, you should be trying to figure out what's going on. Because Peyton was there for her when she was losing her money. Her parents lost her money. She had to sell shit, had to find a job. Peyton was there. But I feel like in the first half of season 2, Brooke was not there for Peyton at all. To the moment where Peyton was like, I need you. I feel very, very alone. I feel like I haven't seen you a lot because you're always with Felix. And when I heard, I'm thinking when Peyton mentioned, I'm thinking like, yeah, in this first half of season 2, I barely saw Brooke there for Peyton. A lot of the moments that her and Brooke should have had in season 2 and early on in the first part of season 2, in the first half of season 2, they did that. A lot of moments went to Peyton and Hannah. I didn't fuck with that. I feel like instead of Brooke giving all of her energy to this pointless, emotionless hooking up with this guy, you should have been there for your friend when she needed you. In my opinion, Peyton needed you, and you chose not to be there for her. And that I don't respect. I'm not saying Brooke's a bad friend, but in those moments, yes, she was. She was emotionally abandoning Peyton. And you know what? A lot of that I can't fault too much on Brooke. It's how the writers chose to write it. But at the end of the day, it's still noticeable because it's very noticeable. So I just like the one last thing I want to mention about her and Felix. They were together for way too long, in my opinion. Way too fucking long. Her and Felix did not break to episode 17 of season 2. Way too long. Brooke was actually there for Peyton a lot when she was going through the Jake shit. I will give Brooke that. At least the writers fixed what they messed up in the first half. Brooke was actually there a lot more for her with the whole Jake shit. Her and Felix were there for way too long. The whole speech about the fact that you don't get to have me, I'm not going to let you win because you get to have me, not my body, sure, not my heart. Brooke, I love that scene with Sophie. It's one of her best acting scenes, but the reason why I don't take it seriously enough is because you already gave him what he really wanted. The only reason why he wanted anything emotional is because y'all chose to open up when y'all should have not been doing that. That's the only reason why he bought the dollhouse. That's the reason why he brought you home some treats, because y'all will open up about y'all exes and y'all love life and how y'all love life has not always been the best. Y'all chose to open up to each other. So Brooke, the fact that you think that a guy that you're casually hooking up with is boyfriend material, that to me is laughable. That just shows me that you have very low self-esteem and you show no worth sometimes. When Lucas told her that she's better than hooking up with random guys, I'm thinking like, yeah, she's definitely better than that. She just don't know her worth. And that sucks. I think she was definitely not that girl. I think Brooke was not I understand that casually hooking up is what she did, but I feel like to the extent that she took it with Felix, I feel like all that came from the fact that she was still heartbroken about Lucas. And I feel like we did not need Felix here for us to have that storyline about her missing Lucas. Which brings me back to her and Lucas in season 2. I just feel like the whole them having feelings for each other, it just came out of nowhere. It felt extremely fast. It felt very forced. Like, I kind of feel like the best way they could have written this was that they should start her and Lucas back together in season 2. That way we wouldn't have had to have that storyline of them going back and forth in season 3. You could have had it earlier. Season 2 was long. They have plenty of time to put them back together, in my opinion. And it would have been better if they would have been doing this from the jump instead of introducing Felix, in my opinion. They could have had this from the jump. They sacrificed Lathan over Brooke, in my opinion. And that I definitely don't agree with. And everybody who say that Lucas and Peyton have no chemistry, you're on crack. You're on crack just because you don't like them. Don't try to sit here until they don't have chemistry, because that I would really, 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 really punch anyone in their face if they ever sit in my face and told me they had no chemistry. They had no chemistry. It wasn't real. Okay. A couple who doesn't have any chemistry is Brooke and Julian. That felt hella surface level, in my opinion. Very, very surface level. I feel like they sacrificed Lathan for Brooke, which is why I feel like him and Peyton had really no scene together in season 2. Not really. Not me that comes to my mind. I feel like him and Peyton were very much sacrificed, and that is a big reason why I kind of don't like season 2, because it's like, where are the Lathan scenes? Where are they? To me, I feel like Lathan, that love story is easily the best part about Once You Know. I'm just something no one says. And you sacrifice them over Brooke. Not saying I hate Brooke. I mean, they get on my nerves. I mean, their relationship gets on my nerves. And everything about it just seems like it's such a waste of time to me, really, when you could have had that in season 2. In my opinion, I think what they should have done is that no Felix, no Anna, because Lucas and Anna were trying to figure out what the fuck they were. I don't know what the fuck that was. No Felix, no Anna. What you do is you have the scene. Okay, this is how I would have done it. The scene where Lucas told them that he wanted to be just friends with them in episode 2 of season 2. That should have been the moment where he took both of them separately and told them and explained to them what was in the letter. That way, all of them could have had closure, in my opinion. That's all the way they could have closure. I don't mind the writers focusing on Peyton and Jake. I like Peyton and Jake. They were cute. They had chemistry. I didn't mind them. People who said it should have been in game, that's very questionable to me. But hey, if you hate Nathan that much and you think they're that bad that you'd rather have her be with Jake, okay. Again, that's just beyond drugs. But back to it. I didn't mind them trying to focus on Peyton and Jake. I understand that they're going with okay. But at the end of the day, I would have liked if Peyton and Lucas would have had some closure in season 2, rather than not giving them any scenes together. Another thing I would have done is that I still would have made Peyton and Lucas have their majority of scenes together in season 2. That is something that I didn't like. I didn't respect it that they had like barely any scenes together. If I was in the writer's room, I still would have made them have scenes together. But right now, it's a friendship. Peyton has scenes for Jake, and that's the only person that she likes right now. Even though there were teasers of Latham in season 2, there were a lot of teasers. Especially towards the end of the season, there were a lot of teasers. So Lucas tells Peyton the side of the letter that he left with her, tells her what was inside of there. They hug. Closure is a friendship. Him and Brooke, they have their moment, their closure. Right now, it's a friendship. What I would have done, the second thing I would have done is I would have made Peyton and Brooke talk and say that they only want a friendship with Lucas, no hooking up, no falling back in love with him. As long as it's a friendship, everything is great. I think the best thing that would have been is that since Peyton was going to be focusing on Jake this season, the best thing you could have done is put more substance on him and Brooke's friendship and turn that back into the romance. And I think the best way I would have done that is have him and Brooke hang out a little bit more. One night, him and Brooke hang out. It's so fun that they actually end up having sex. That is where it gets juicy. After Brooke already told Peyton that that right now she can't, that either one of them are not even thinking about going anywhere further with Lucas. Right now they want to focus strictly on a friendship. Now we have Brooke struggling on telling Peyton how she just hooked up with Lucas after she just told Peyton that even though they both just said that they right now they want to just focus on having a friendship with him. That would have been the best way to have that secret carrying on to like. I think the homecoming episode would have been the best way to expose that secret. And I want to have Lucas brag about it. I think the person that I would have have that slip to is that I think what I would have done is that I would have had Brooke talk to somebody and try to think who could she talk to. Okay, if that case, if we're gonna keep, honestly, I think Felix. I hate Felix. I liked Anna a lot more than I liked Felix, but I still feel like she was a very bland character. But that should say if Anna was the new girl in town, I would have had Brooke tell her that she's keeping like a big secret from Peyton, and that is the fact that she slept with Lucas after her and Peyton agreed that they would just be friends with him, and she don't know how to tell Peyton that she slept with him. I would have had Anna tell Peyton that Brooke and Lucas are together, and Brooke feels terrible about it because she doesn't want this situation coming between our friendship again. I would have had Peyton say that why would she care about them sleeping together when if that's what they want to do, that's their decision. But deep down, I would have made Peyton feel a tough way about it because I feel like it was just always her and Lucas, that it just wouldn't make any sense to not have her at least feel a little bit something about it. Then we have Lucas trying to figure out what him and Brooke are since they slept together. Brooke tells him that she doesn't know if she could trust him again after everything that went down, and Lucas tells her that he was stupid to think that after the night that they shared that it would ever go back to what it was, not like relationship, like friendship or anything of the sort. And Brooke tells him that she is bleeding into her space. Brooke tells Peyton that they slept together. Peyton says that she's not mad. She says she understands that it them being together just literally just ended like about what I'm gonna say this probably happened a few months ago. Her and Lucas broke up because when season 2 opens up, it's still the summertime before school. So they just say her and Lucas broke up like a few months ago, and Peyton could understand why it would have been easily to fall for that, to not almost say fall for the trap, but give in to feelings and not understand why they're still there for her ex. I think it happens to everyone. Peyton isn't mad or anything like that. I think after that, because we're not doing nothing with Felix, I think in episode 10, that's when we get Lucas trying to tell Brooke about his feelings. That's what we do. I think the moment that Felix and Brooke had, that should have been her and Lucas. And that's where we go from there. I think episode 10 is the best way to get them back together. And there we go. Boom, bada bang, bada boom. And you break them up when Brooke has to leave and go to her parents for the summer. And then after that, her and Lucas are never, and when I say this, never getting back together ever again. Because I think the best way to end all of that is still having Brooke find the stuff in his closet with Peyton, in my opinion. I think that's the best way to end the relationship because Brooke will always feel inferior and threatened by him and Peyton's connection. And I still will give him and Peyton the friendship moments in this show, in this season, to make Brooke still feel inferior to their connection. And I think that's the best way to end it. That's even in the scene where I still will keep that scene in season 2 when they kiss. He gives her a kiss goodbye, and she was like, "What about Peyton's stuff?" And he was like, "I would change what he said because what he said didn't make any sense." But all I can say is that he didn't know he still had that stuff in his closet. That because honestly, when you look at what Brooke was doing, she was rearranging his closet. So to me, I'm just going to assume that Lucas did not know he still had that stuff. I only can say that he didn't know he still had that, and that he wants to be with her. But if that's not what she wants, then he won't fight. He won't fight her anymore. Brooke didn't know what to say. She tells him bye. And that's where we ended. I think the best way that we could have gotten Lucas and Peyton a lot quicker than rather later. And again, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at the slow burn and them trying to find their way back to each other. I think we could have had Lucas and Peyton in season 3. That would have been the best way to have it happen, in my opinion. As soon as Brooke leaves for the summer and she won't be back into senior year, the best way to have that happen, to have them be together, is by them hooking up, by them hanging out over the summer and them slow burning, realizing that they still have feelings for each other. That's the best way they could have written related back together. Tell me that's not a good storyline. Tell me that storyline will have not fed generations. Even though I'm not all the way mad that they chose to go with him and Brooke in season 3. I just feel like it was just like another season of this. Like I don't know. Like I just don't know. That's how we're done. I would have made him and Peyton get together in season 3, and they'll try to figure out how to tell Brooke about it. And of course, Brooke's gonna be mad, even though Peyton wasn't mad that she slept with Lucas, even though they both agreed that it would just be a friendship. So we have that right there on Brooke being a hypocrite 101. Of course, she would be mad if they got together because she's thinking about loyalty, even though you didn't have any loyalty. I'm talking about this hypothetically in the storyline. Even though you didn't have any loyalty when you hooked up with him after we both agreed it was just strictly a friendship. Okay then, so hush. There's no I still say it's a love triangle. It still is a love triangle in season 3. I still limit a love triangle because even though him and Peyton are together, her and Brooke are still friends, and Brooke is still very much in love with Lucas, and she still wants to be with him. But I would have made Lucas fully committed to Peyton, but him and Brooke are friends. I would have done that. I could understand why people feel like, but then what about the school kids? We wouldn't have gotten the iconic "I love you" scene, and I still would have not made it be him and Brooke. Even if things were switched, I still would not want him and Brooke to be in game. Like, if y'all sitting here saying, so people probably thinking, so the storyline that him and Lathan had, that Peyton and Lucas had in season 3 in the school, would I go to him and Brooke? No, I think him and Brooke is finished. It's done. In season 3, that's just saying hypothetically, if it went my way, I still would have had to be Peyton in the school that he went to go look for, in my opinion. I feel like him and Brooke is done. It's over with. It's a wrap. It still would have been over. We wouldn't have gotten no wedding scene. We wouldn't have not gotten Lucas pining after Brooke in season 4, wasting everybody's time. We wouldn't have gotten that. We would have got strictly just him and Peyton. Period. But I know a lot of people think, then what about the state championship kiss? You could have gotten, you still would have gotten those scenes with them together. They still would have been just iconic, in my opinion. Their first "I love you" scene could have been in the school shooting. Like, with not Brooke, with Peyton thinking that she's about to die and telling Lucas that she loves him. Like, that's iconic in itself. Them being together in season 4 and her telling Lucas, and Lucas telling her that the person he wants to stay next to him when his dreams come true is her. That's still iconic in itself. We didn't need 3 seasons of Lucas and Brooke to get those iconic scenes. We still would have got them, even if it was switched, in my opinion. I still think we still would have got those scenes even if they were switched. But I tell myself that I feel like the love triangle, because I feel like to them, since they were writing it, I feel like if that did happen, the love triangle would have ended a lot quicker to me. And to me, I feel like I'm okay with that if it's them putting Lathan together a lot sooner than later, in my opinion. I just feel like Lucas and Brooke, that went on for way too long, in my opinion, and I just got really tired of it. I just got really tired of the back and forth, the questioning, this everything just got really, really like a major headache. I just feel like in season 2, I understand they had chemistry, I understand they had their cute moments, but to me, everything about it just seemed like it came out of the blue. It's like it just seemed very forced, and it felt like to me that it was more like a audience. Like, I feel like they let the fans kind of tweak things a bit in season 2. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong listening to your fans, but I feel like whenever I watch season 2, I definitely get like the fans they were listening to fans online. Like, I feel like Peyton and Jake probably would have not been a thing if they didn't listen to fans. I don't think we would have gotten another season of Brooke if it wasn't for the fans. I think the fandom kind of chipped in on majority of those storylines and majority of those dynamics that we got in season 2. That's just how I feel. I kind of feel like when Lucas and Brooke in season 2, it just seemed very forced, and it just seemed very like out of nowhere. And I get it. There are a lot of Brookish shippers, and I get it. Y'all love them, but y'all even have to admit that their storyline in season 2 really came out of nowhere. Like, really, really came out of nowhere. Lucas has not talked to her, has not thought about her since they talked on the beach episode 9. Now all of a sudden, episode 10, he got feelings for her. Where did this come from? It makes no sense that his feelings are heightened for Brooke, but not heightened for Peyton. That makes no sense in itself either, because he has feelings for both of them at the exact same time, even though he liked Peyton first. Like, even in that sense, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, not at all. I understand he pursued Brooke, but I feel like to me, it just didn't make any sense that he was pursuing her and not once the writers make him pursue Peyton. It doesn't make any sense. Not to me. So that's how I feel about it. Let me know how you guys feel. Drop down in the comments. Listen to it. and I'll see you guys later. I always wanted to talk about this. It's always been on my mind since the moment I watched the show. Like, when I was even young, I didn't get it. I thought when I was younger, I thought it made sense because they broke up, and I feel like him and Brooke, their relationship in season 1 wasn't that long, so I could understand why they decided to make it more long and, like, build it up in season 2, and then build it up even more in season 3, and then finally have it be together. I get it, but to me, it just felt like it was a little bit too long. Like, they had three seasons together. A lot of the stuff that they had could have gone to Lathan, in my opinion. And that's how I feel, because I just feel like Lathan, that was the love story. It was there from the beginning. I don't care what anyone says. It was right there. Even though I'm not mad at a slow burn. I'm not mad at the slowly figuring out that they have feelings for each other. I'm not mad about it. Them coming to terms with their feelings for each other. Not mad about it. I'm not the biggest Brooke shipper. I'm not. To me, I just feel like it was just too long. It was too drawn out, and I feel like it could have happened a lot sooner than later, in my opinion. Their whole storyline in season 3 could have been in season 2. Everything that they wrote, and you take out the whole friends benefits situation, the whole fling, you take all that out, her and Lucas, they storyline in season 3 could have been in season 2. Boom, bada bang, bada boom. It could have been there, but they kind of chose to drag it out a little bit more. And again, not mad at it, but again, it just seemed kind of unnecessary. But again, it did feed us drama, so I'm not mad about that. But that's just how I feel. So, if there's anyone else out there who feels the way I feel, please let me know, because I know definitely not. I feel like I'm not the person who feels this way. But at the end of the day, thank y'all so much, and bye.